AZ Audibles on the road. Eric Sorensen and Jordan Ham in Mesa. Later, we're going to hear from a couple of guests on a project that could be a real game changer for the high school sports landscape here in the entire state. But first, Eric, let's talk about some of the top storylines we're seeing in high school football.
We're out here in the Southeast Valley, Jordan, and we talk about some of the usual powers, whether it be Higley or Chandler. This year, I think Bash is a great success story. They're off to a really quick start. But the team that I think sort of flies under the radar, and I don't even know if I should use that term, but Williamsfield is back again. They started the season 0-1. They went over to Southern California and got beat. But since then, 5 consecutive wins. And defensively, they're beating some really good offenses. Sunrise Mountain, most recently Castile. They also have a win over Marana. And of course, the X Factor, Noah Pola-Gates. This guy is unbelievable. He can beat you in special teams. He's a hawk in the secondary. And offensively, he's had some big plays as well. So just keep an eye on the Blackhawks once the playoffs come around.
So I was at Mountain Point and Queen Creek last week. On Queen Creek's side, we've talked about him plenty, but Devin Larson. Yep. Any coaches that are on the fence about offering him that he may not be mobile enough, go ahead and look at that last drive that Queen Creek had. He was able to get off a couple of big runs, 4 first downs, placed a couple of perfect balls, and he never forced a throw. They were able to come back, get the win over a very good Mountain Point team, and have a statement win here in 6A. So we've talked about the big-time players right now. Let's talk about the future of high school football with Mesa Plays. We are here in East Mesa, close to Red Mountain High School, and behind me, there's a lot of desert right now, but this could be the site of a future game changer for high school sports, and that's through the Mesa Plays project. And we are now joined by Mesa Vice Mayor David Luna and Mark Garcia of Mesa Plays. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us. What is the Mesa Plays project?
It is a 24-field multi-purpose sports complex. So it's soccer, lacrosse, field hockey, rugby, you could do canine agility events, disabled sports, ultimate frisbee, just really any type of field sport can be played at the sports complex.
Vice Mayor Luna, when you look at a project like this, how could this affect the quality of life for the Mesa residents?
Certainly it's going to affect the quality of life for Mesa residents because what it's going to attract. And we're looking for a lot of economic development activities as a result of that. We know a lot of parents pay for their kids to participate in sports, but they come from all over the country. This would lend itself for economic development opportunities, hotels, restaurants, and those kind of activities that we're very excited about.
Mm-hmm. Mark, when you look at the high school sports landscape and what that could provide for big-time events, how could that affect the landscape of high school sports and the way they put on those big events?
It'd have a big impact in a number of different ways. You mentioned high school sports, so it could be the home for the 5A, perhaps 6A state football championships. Certainly could be a home for soccer state championships. And that's true for all of the field sports. It could be a home for those types of events. But even beyond that, it could be a home for MLS, that's Major League Soccer, spring training events. We could be home for an NCAA or NAIA national championship. So really the possibilities are endless.
So we have the Idea Museum. The Idea Museum is going to go through remodeling, so we're asking voters to approve some remodeling. We're also looking at creating some pathways, some walkable pathways, so those people that like to walk and want those kind of activities, we're asking voters to support that. We're also asking for support of our libraries, so we're very excited about that. We know that our libraries need some upkeep, but we're also building a library in Southeast Mesa, which we're very excited about.
The project is up for vote here in November. What do voters need to know about the information regarding this particular project?
Well, we're encouraging voters to vote for 4, 5, and 6 on the ballot that they will be receiving in November. The ballots will actually drop October 10th. So when you see the ballot and you look at items 4, 5, and 6, we're encouraging voters to vote for that because it's going to be transformational over here in East Mesa, located on 80th and Brown.
This, if booked at full capacity, would bring 350,000 new visitors to Mesa, representing $350 million in total economic output. And then just in direct expenditures, no multipliers, no inducements, $200 million, that's every single year. And that's going to lead, you bring 350,000 new people to the community every year, they're going to come with certain demands and services. So you're talking about new hotel development, restaurant, retail. We're all very excited about it.
Mark, you mentioned the economic impact that this project could have, but of course the residents and the voters are going to want to know how much it may cost them. What is that sort of cost and how will that be broken down per resident?
The short answer is that it would cost the average Mesa homeowner 45 cents a month or $5.44 a year. So the project, as the Vice Mayor mentioned, is broken into 4, 5, and 6. Questions 4, 5, and 6. The 45 cents a month or $5.44 a year is in this project. These are 9 artificial surface fields, and they're artificial by design. These are the fields that the locals, local Mesa residents, the people that live right here, will have access to every night of the week for practices. Then they'll have access to all 24 of these fields on the weekends for tournament play, depending on which league or association that they belong to. The ones that you see up in here, these 15 fields, these are kind of termed as tournament fields. These are paid for in questions 5 and 6. Question 5 is not a separate bond. It's not a separate tax. It's simply an authorization from the voters of Mesa to the city of Mesa to spend more than $1.5 million. It's really a charter question, so we're responding to that. Question 6 pays for question 5. Question 6 is an increase of the hotel bed tax in Mesa of 1 percentage point, so moving from 5% to 6%, and those revenues go to pay for this part. So again, the only hit, if you will, to the Mesa homeowner, Mesa resident, is 45 cents a month right here, and it's wrapped up in question 4. In addition to those 9 fields that I talked about earlier, and adding the amenities that Vice Mayor Luna talked about, the libraries, the dog parks, the miles and miles of trailways and bike paths and those sorts of things, and the Idea Museum getting a facelift, the full measure of that, the full cost of that is $2 a month or $24 a year. But boy, you're getting a lot for $24 a year.
A lot of interesting stuff from Mark Garcia and Vice Mayor David Luna. Thanks so much for tuning in to AZ Audibles.